Hey guys, Dan Gogler here,
And I'm Kevin Limeister.
and we are actually collaborating on Module 4 because we go to the exact same school, we work at the exact same school, and we figured instead of bothering, our principals who are out on leave anyways, that we could collaborate together and talk about where we think our school is currently at. So Kevin's going to talk a little bit about what we do in the state of Ohio.
Yeah, we chose not to go with the KESA standard since we don't teach in Kansas. We teach in Ohio. So we had to do a little research and figure out kind of the strategic plan that Ohio has in place. And there are 10 goals that Ohio has developed. So we went through and we ranked each goal in the same way that you guys would have ranked the KESA goals. And we're going to talk about each one individually.
So, standard or strategy number one is really talking about the teachers, just how good the teachers are. And we feel that's a big process and that goes into the hiring that our administrators look into. From what we've seen, both been a part of the hiring process before, so we've seen what our administrators do, and we feel like they do their utmost best to get basically highly effective teachers and leaders. They really go through a vigorous process with our county and within our own administration to get the best teachers they possibly can. So we put modeling for that, which is the highest.
All right, for strategy two, we really feel that our principals do have a lot of support in central office. However, we do have limited contact with them at times. And the other thing that our district has, we have several new administrators. So they're definitely qualified for their position, but they're probably still got a little ways to go. So we put transitioning for that one.
For strategy three, we're really talking about, targeting supports for teachers that will help them with instruction. We put transitioning, which is a little bit lower, obviously. And the biggest reason we did that was probably because of our special education support staff. We are pretty limited in that, which makes it tough, and especially social studies and science areas. Even our special ed rooms could use more support. I think we'd both say.
Mhm.
So we put transitioning on that one. I think that honestly comes down to money as the biggest factor.
For strategy four, I think that our district does a great job of using the standards to develop the curriculum. We base all of our curriculum around our standards. I know for me in particular, for math, they're all lined up in our books. We've got
Mhm.
I can statements written on the board and all that kind of stuff. So that's something we do really well at.
Yeah, we really push that. Strategy five is really about the assessments that we use to look at the students and basically acknowledge how they're doing. We put transitioning on this because we're kind of locked into state standard testing, especially for you guys in math.
Mhm.
We have it in science. We don't have it in social studies in Ohio, which is what I teach also. We actually line this also up with our PSEL standards. We looked at those, and we felt this one lines up with standard 4F, which is really about using good assessments. We really only use, we think, the state assessments right now to identify how our students are doing. So we put transitioning for that one.
For this one, for the state's accountability system, the only reason we're really putting implementing on this is because we are about to hit a reset button here in Ohio.
Mm-hmm.
They are completely changing the way that the state holds us accountable. And so we were actually going to do a trial program this year, but opted out of that. And so next year it's starting from scratch. So we're going to just see how that goes. So it's
Yeah.
definitely in place, but we don't know much about it.
Yeah, I think we're both kind of worried about what that's going to look like. Who knows? Strategy seven is really working with our community, parents, caregivers, to try to meet the whole needs of the kid as a community and as a school working together. We do some stuff on certain days, probably one, two, three times a year. We do
Mhm.
stuff with the community. So we put implementing a lower one because we really don't have a great relationship with our community. We need to improve that for sure. I think we're trying to do stuff to improve it. We're just a long way from getting there. We also think this matches up with one of those PSEL standards. We think this one matches up with Standard 8, D there, which really talks about involving the community quite a bit more than what we do.
Um, the importance of early learning. We both teach at the middle school level, and we feel this is more of an elementary levels kind of benchmark that the state's setting here. But when you look at the data of the district, in Ohio we have this third grade guarantee where you have to pass certain tests in third grade in order to get to the fourth grade, and every year we meet that standard. So we have a great elementary um, building in our district, and they do a lot with the students to prepare them for their future.
And 9 kind of goes along with it. It's literacy skills across all the ages and all the grades and subject areas. We have a lot of data from our state testing, and we're able to look at a lot of different data. We have a lot of our English teachers do different reading tests at the beginning of the year. And I think they've shown that we are pretty much on target at grade level reading or above it throughout our school district, depending on what age you look at.
And then the last goal for the district was strategy 10 here. Ensure high school inspires students to identify paths to future success. One thing that Ohio has really done a good job of transitioning and is that at one point in time, probably about 10 years ago, it was go to college and that was it.
Mm-hmm.
And now they've kind of seen that college isn't for everyone. So our district in particular, they have a career program where students who don't need college or don't see it in their future, but maybe want to do a trade program of some sort, want to specialize in, for example, masonry or mechanics or something like that. They actually have programs for that at the high school level. And so I think that they really cater to the needs of these students and don't push one path or another, but let students go wherever they're going to be successful.
Now, we actually have 2 administrators at our building. We probably have about 800 kids from 5th grade to 8th grade. So we have a principal and then a vice principal. I'm going to talk about our principal first, whose name is Joyce Gerber, and her leadership style. We thought she best met up with leadership member exchange theory because she does have different relationships with different people. She has some teachers she has to kind of dictate more, like, here's what we're going to do. She's got some that she's in full trust mode. Yeah, probably me. And then full trust mode with you on, hey, take your classroom. I trust what you're doing. You don't need as much support. So she definitely has different relationships with teachers and staff depending on what they need. And I feel that matches up well with leadership member.
And then our assistant principal, Travis Dobbins, he's more of a situational leader, which Dan and I both say we would fit in that boat as well. He can put on a lot of different hats. If he needs to be in charge, he'll be in charge. If he needs to let someone else be in charge, he'll do that too. So he's very adaptive to whatever environment is necessary.
The last thing, what I would change, what we would both change, I'm going to talk about mine first. We both kind of took one each. I think the thing I would change is probably our support staff, the number of it. In certain classrooms, they have aids and stuff that they're able to use, and other ones are more limited. And once again, this goes to funding. I know our special ed rooms really could use extra aids. They're very limited on their numbers, and it just makes it hard to meet all the accommodations of the kids. It kind of makes us put ourselves in possible liability with the special ed kids at different times because of how we're trying to manage the classroom and those students' needs. We also felt that matched up well with PSEL standard number 9B, which really talks about organization and management and kind of putting support staff in certain roles and setting teachers up for success.
Mm-hmm. And then the one thing that I think also that really needs to be changed is our community, or what am I trying to say? Relationship with the community. Yeah. We really do have kind of a poor relationship with the community. It's actually more of a us versus them kind of deal a lot of the time. I know, like Dan said earlier, we have specific events where we invite a few community members in and stuff, but as far as making an impact on the community and the community making an impact on the school, I think that's a big struggle of ours, and I think that's something we really need to change. So that's about it for this. Thanks for listening, and have a good day.
Thanks, guys.